And then, hey, do I just share my screen here at the bottom,
We
or
dude, we're live. What's up, guys? We are live on Lead House 365, the closing table where we talk about every single thing it takes to get to the closing table as a real estate investor. I'm Drew from Lead House 365, and this is Craig, my fearless partner from Lead House 365.
what's going on, fellas and ladies?
Everyone jumping in. This is our first time doing this. We're going to be doing this once a month, the last Friday of every single month. So make sure you subscribe and tune in every month. We're going to be spitting just free game and free knowledge based off the things that we see happening every single month in our business, and that isn't turning your business. So for you, those of you who may not know who we are Lead House 365. We're the premier lead generation company for real estate investors. So if you do fix and flips, if you're doing wholesaling, if you're buying and holding, even if you're a realtor, we generate high quality. I'd say the highest quality. I like to toot our own horn. Highest quality, motivated, distressed seller leads in the industry. Now, Craig, when it comes to a distressed seller, what would you consider a distressed seller when you talk about the leads that we would generate at Lead House 365?
Timeline, condition of the person, not the property. What are they going through? Right? Are they in dire needs of just getting rid of this thing and accepting what they can get, or do they need a certain price because maybe that's going to get them to their next venture, maybe to a down payment on a new house, or first and second month's rent and security deposit for a rental. But one way or another, it's timeline, motivation, what's going on in their life. Price comes last.
I totally get you. So I want to start things off today by talking about this story I was reading earlier about this couple who is earning 6 figures a year just from owning rental properties. How they're doing that is right now they're seeing about a 30% return on their portfolio while paying off the properties themselves, being able to pay off the properties that now they own. And they say they do that specifically with their buy box. Their buy box is, I think, what we found with lots of our clients is every one of our clients has a different buy box. And one of the things that makes us unique is we really cater our customer journey for the sellers to fit the buy box for our investors. So if you have a specific buy box, like one lead does not fit all, one size does not fit all when it comes to these leads. So whatever your buy box for your seller is and whatever the condition of that seller is, we can build a customer journey that will only get you those types of properties into your pipeline. So this specific couple who's killing it as real estate investors, they are specifically focusing on these properties in Florida. And here's what their buy box is. Number one is that it must be in their area. Like they want to buy properties that are in their backyard, close to home, so they can be focusing on the market that they understand. The market is appreciating, the market is high demand, so they love to focus on properties within like a 15-mile radius of where they are. And they're really focusing on affordable housing, so not too cheap, but also not too high, something that the everyday average person can afford rent for. And these people are not flipping paper, they're specifically buying and holding and turning them into rental properties. And they're specifically looking for undervalued properties because they can, when they offer below market on something that is already undervalued, they know that they've gotten a good deal and they can make money right away on their buy. Their goal is to generate cash flow positive revenue from day one of essentially buying this property. So they're not really focused on too big fix and flips, things that are in really need major renovations. They're focusing on things that maybe need a small little lift, maybe a little bit of things to add some values like paint or flooring or carpeting, but that's really it. But the main thing they focus on is this 1% rule of real estate, which, is something I've heard a lot, but people may not understand. So what this says, and I'm going to ask Craig to kind of explain it more, is the 1% rule. So it really states that the general rule of thumb suggests that to create positive cash flow, the monthly rent of your property should be at least 1% of the purchase price. So can you explain what that means, Craig?
Yeah. So what that means is because these investors, they're not they may buy it cash, but they're refinancing it, right? So they want their payment, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and then HOA, property management, their monthly payments needs to be less than what the renter is going to pay. That way they could pocket the difference, would be net cash flow. So that formula, that formula has been around since I've been in the business, the 1%
Mhm.
rule. With insurance increases and with taxes going up and everything, you know how that works. It gets passed on to the consumer. So the rent is just going to increase, right? But
Mhm.
that's a standard rule for buy and hold investors, that the 1% should cover all of their monthly expenses. And then as long as it's cash flow positive and makes them a few bucks, then it's a deal, right? A
Got
lot of
it.
these investors too, man, they're not just in it for cash flow, right? They're in it for appreciation, depreciation, write-offs. There's all types of benefits when you buy rental and hold rental properties that you don't get from just other sources like a W-2 or a 1099 job. That's always a benefit, to reduce your income on your taxes, and also you're building wealth over time. What the property might be worth today, say you hold on to it for 20 years, you have a tenant paying down your mortgage every single month. Your tenant's essentially taking care of all your debt. So just think of it, when you sell it, it's going to be 100% that equity, right?
Makes
You
sense.
weren't
Yeah.
paying any of it. So there's many benefits of this, and the 1% rule is kind of like the base part to start when analyzing, a deal that is good for a buy and hold investor.
So a great example of this is that they have is said, let's say you are able to buy a condo that is $120,000. That means that 1% of that would be 1,200. So you need to be able to rent it for at least $1,200 a month. But ideally, you'd also want to add a buffer, like for everything, like you said, Craig, like insurance rates going up, repairs, maintenance, things like that. So they said a buffer would be at like $1,500 a month. So that's like a little bit more than 1%, but it's really at least 1%. So any type of property, if you're looking to buy and hold to rent out, typically that 1% rule, you want to be able to rent it for at least 1% of the total purchase price, and then add a little bit of a buffer to fill it out. And that's how they have been able to generate 30% ROI off their portfolio year over year, and then also be able to cash flow all these properties that are basically paying for themselves. Someday maybe they want to retire and just offload all 28 of those properties and just go live on a beach in Guatemala and live like kings because they've just invested into this process and stuff. So that is a great real estate. Some of you maybe getting getting into real estate investing, is that 1% rule if you're looking to cash flow properties right away. Want to talk about a couple of things that we've been seeing with our clients. Now, our clients, like I said, are investors of all shapes and sizes, who are investing in real estate, and they're all at different stages in their journey as real estate investors. So we are constantly troubleshooting problems in their business as much as we're troubleshooting problems in our business, and trying to aid them and help them in their journey, because sometimes not just more leads is the answer to solve all your problems, right? Sometimes it can be, but not always. So one example we were talking about was with one of our clients who is having an issue where they have a solid lead flow, and last year they had a great successful year. It was a small team, one or two people. They immediately decided to scale, right? Invest more into leads, invest more into marketing, but they also decided to invest more into their team. So now they're at a team of maybe like 9 or 10 people, and they're having trouble now being able to afford for their marketing. A direct mail campaign could cost 10, 20, $30,000. Some of these real estate investors in some areas like Phoenix are spending, $50,000 a month on advertising to generate leads. Now, to be able to afford that, you need to not have too high of a payroll. So this client in particular is having trouble affording his, lead generation and marketing and investing into that because of that team. So what do you think is going on there, Craig? What would you suggest to someone who may be like facing that situation, or where did this person potentially go wrong?
Yeah, you said it perfect. Like not having, if you're not making the money that you need to make to have a sustainable business, adding more leads usually is not the issue. So just because, oh, we didn't get a deal this month, or we were projected to get, whatever, five figures, or a certain ROI this month, it doesn't always boil back to the lead to say,
Mhm.
oh, okay, well, if, hey, the formula says we get every 100 leads, we get 10 deals. Well, if you think you're going to make 20 deals off of 200 leads, go back and look at your system and your process first. And then decide, hey, if there's a marketing issue, because if there's no marketing issue, spending more money on marketing isn't going to solve it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is from my own personal experience. We grew when I had my big wholesale team in Houston. We grew so fast that we were just hiring everybody, right? Anybody that wanted to come and do it, we just put them in a chair. Over time, you realize that, like, hey, maybe we did it too fast. We didn't have the proper sales process and training to get the right people in the right chair, because having the wrong person in that chair costs you a lot more money and time than if you just had some type of system set up to ease them into the transition, right? As well as, dude, in real estate investing, man, you don't, when you're doing wholesale or just transactions, um, you don't get paid until the deal is closed. So there's a lot of time there in between locking up a contract and closing that there's no money being produced. There's a lot of work and a lot of effort going into it for the next deals and et cetera. But some people aren't ready for that.
Yeah.
Some people live their lifestyle so transactional that they're used to, they need to buy something, they just go and click Amazon or whatever, or go to the store. Real estate, the timeline is dragged out so far that, because it's a huge asset, right? Quarter
Mhm.
million, $500,000, sometimes even more, that it takes a lot longer to deal with that transaction. Putting the wrong people in those right chairs, or putting the wrong people in the wrong chair, sorry, they haven't lived that lifestyle yet. They need
Mhm.
money now. Some of them need money to go pay rent, pay their car note, their cell phone bill, whatever. So putting them in a chair and saying, "Oh, great, you got a deal, but it ain't going to close for 45 days." To them, that doesn't help them in the
Yeah.
the spot they're in, right? So, it's a big learning curve. I've been through it, and there's other ways to navigate. It's not always, "Hey, oh man, I'm so busy. I need to replace myself." That's not
Mhm.
always the best decision.
Yeah. And so when do you think it is the right time to start scaling your team and adding more members?
I think it's different for each person. Also, we see this a lot, dude, of people who spread themselves so thin, but they're everywhere, right? They're doing wholesale, they're doing flips, they're doing rentals, they're an agent too. We love to work with people who are flexible, but also Scarface said it best, I think, right? Don't get high on your own supply, right?
Mhm.
If you plan on hiring us to be your marketing team, but then a really nice deal comes your way and you want to buy it to move into it with your family and keep it for yourself and not utilize an investment strategy, we've seen this happen
Mhm.
where the guy just wants to keep the house for himself. He
Mhm.
says, "Oh, I want to upgrade my living style." Well, dude, how are you going to, instead of selling that deal to somebody else and making a profit to keep your business running, like, what do you expect is going to happen? You know, it's, don't put your hand in your own cookie jar, man. So,
Yeah.
um, I think it's different for each person, to answer your question.
Mhm.
My thought was just, hey, if you have a sustainable business that is doing X amount of revenue 3, 4, 5 months in a row, then I think it's probably the best time. But
Mhm.
I wouldn't go hire a bunch of people just being the fact that, hey, you have 24 hours in your day and 18 of them are meant on the business. You need to look at, hey, well, uh what should my time be used that is going to make me the most amount of money, right?
Mhm.
And then try to replace accordingly. But
And the and there's a lot of technology too that can close that gap. Like as you as a let's say you're a solopreneur and you have a partner and you're doing this like an acquisitions guy, like there's probably a lot of technologies that exist right now that could free up that time you're trying to free up potentially versus thinking that hiring someone is going to solve that problem. It could be just the way you go about your business could be more efficient. There are so many tools and technologies with the way CRMs work these days. And and AI that potentially you could free up so much time instead of just trying to hire 10 people to do the 10 jobs you're doing, thinking you're just going to be a business owner. It could be finding 3 of those things that could be automated with, and maybe hiring a developer to help you automate those. And then all of a sudden you can put off that hiring process for another year, maybe. Because I'll tell you this, the one thing that I've seen in the multitude of businesses I've ran and owned is that no one is going to treat the lead the way you will treat the lead, the person who pays for it, right? You
Yep.
can hire 10 people and think now you have 10 clones of yourself. That's absolutely not true. It's something about human nature when you hire someone who is getting, let's say they're a W-2 or salaried employee or 1099 contractor. They're there. It's like the human brain naturally defaults to, for the most part, doing the least amount of work that I have to do to get fired. Those are the people who will never be able to really be entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are the people who wake up every day thinking, what else can I do today to get ahead and to reach that next goal and unlock that. So if you're hiring people that are not entrepreneurials and not someday you expect to go out on their own and crush it, then those people essentially are never going, you can't expect them to treat that lead that you paid for it like you would, to call them on the hour, to call them ASAP, to put down their phone and call that lead the second they're in and ignore that YouTube video they're watching or whatever it might be. So I think that's where a lot of people go wrong when they're scaling, is they think that just hiring 9 people is going to be hiring like 9 of them. And because you're expecting of that and you're trying to manage them to that, but inherently, like, that's probably just not going to happen. And now you have 9 mouths to feed, and potentially your business isn't growing, and now you're just taking money that could be devoted towards sales, marketing, and advertising to generate the best leads that you're looking for, and you're holding yourself back by trying to scale too fast. So I'd say, like you said, the right time is different for everybody, but really it's like when you've exhausted the technological advances that have come along that can close that gap, and to where you just are able to, you feel like you are missing out on deals because of the team size, right? And that's after the technology components brought in. So another thing we'll talk about is, like, someone came to us this week and asked us, like, hey, I'm running a campaign with you guys. The leads are great. But how can I get more leads? And me being on the marketing and advertising side of this business, and Craig is more on the real estate side, to me, it really comes down to, like, if you're running some type of inbound campaign, there's only really 3 ways you can get more leads. There's no magic lever, right? When things are as good as we have them dialed in, which if you work with us, we have things very dialed in, and honestly, the customer journey is customized, but the advertising is templatized. If you think about State Farm Insurance or Geico or Progressive, right? Those ads that they're running on TV are running nationwide. When that lead comes in from their ad that they've already proven worked, it goes to their local agent that might be in Jacksonville, Florida. But that person in Jacksonville, Florida, who's got that lead, they're seeing the same ad as someone who's in Poughkeepsie, New York. So think about that's the way advertising works. So when you have it that dialed in nationwide to where it's working, there's really only 3 ways you can get more leads, right? The first one is going to be to spend more money, more budget, more advertising budget, spend more money. If your lead cost is $50 per lead and you're spending $50 a day, then you can expect 1 lead per day. Maybe some days it's 2 and 1 it's 0. And then there's a day where you have like 5, and then you go 2 days where it's 0. With inbound, it's not necessarily consistent, but it's consistent over a 30-day period, right? If we expect to get 30 leads in 30 days, even if we get 5 one day, it will probably average out to be that from what our data shows. So you can spend more money, right? And that's not the thing that everyone loves to hear, right? Because sometimes that's not what people want to do, even though it's really the easiest lever. So the only other ways is to change your buy box, right? Maybe you open up your buy box and now you start letting in mobile homes or condos or townhomes. Maybe you need to you loosen up that criteria of what your buy box is to get a higher volume of leads. Now, that doesn't mean that you're now focusing on the properties you don't want. What that means is now the process for someone to get through that funnel could be a lot easier. And now you're going to have a higher conversion rate. The amount of people getting through your journey is going to go up. Most companies, when they are generating leads for people, they're just collecting the information, the name, the email address, the phone number, right? And you can get a lot of that. At the end of the day, you might as well just call, buy a list, and do cold call a list at that point, even though it's considered inbound. We want to know the who, what, when, where, why, how, who they are, why are they looking to sell, what is the condition of the property, when are they looking to sell it, and where it is, right? We want to know every single thing we can before we even talk to that lead. So we have a really long process. Now, let's say you change that process, that you just want the what condition it's in, the where it is, the who it is, and the timeline, and that's it. That's 4 instead of 6 criterias. We're not getting the why they're looking to sell it. We're not getting their asking price, things like that. That could essentially generate more leads, because the volume of leads now will go up because it's easier for people to get through the process. Now, the quality of some of those leads may go down, right? Because we are getting less criteria from them, but that is a way, without increasing your budget, you can loosen that box and get a higher volume of leads. The only other one that we really know of is changing your market, right? Investing in a wider market area, maybe a market you've never been in. We have so many people that are like so focused that we talk to. They're so focused in like Orlando, Florida is my market or whatever, but it's like we're in 2025. We know so many guys buying houses all over the country, doing novation, sub twos, fix and flips. What they have a real estate license, whatever it is, whatever way they can get the deal done, they'll get the deal done, and don't care where it is, as long as they can find a buyer for it or find a solution for the seller. So really, just like if you're too focused in on that one area, that could really be holding you back from lead flow. Now, if you spend that same $50 a day on ads, and you do it in Orlando, and then you add in Tampa, Florida, it's 2 hours away. Still, you have double the market cap, double the market size, twice the audience. So if you think about it like swings at a baseball bat, if you swing 3 times, you strike out. Well, now you can swing 6 times in a day for the same amount of money. So really, like, that's how you can think about it, is like increasing your target area and your market is the way to solve that problem. I want you, Craig, to talk about this. The other thing is, we had someone come in. The last one I want to talk about is one of our clients came in and was complaining about PPL. And specifically, can you tell us, like, explain what PPL is, how we're different than PPL, and what the difference is between what we do and what PPL is, and then kind of like why people are saying PPL is dead is kind of what we've been hearing around the block.
Yeah, PPL is just pay per lead, right? So it's just a company. And this is what these PPL companies do. They contact companies like us, and they reach out and they want to buy the leads that we have, and then just resell them to people like you, investors, people who don't want to get into a whole campaign like we offer, right? We offer long-term campaigns, monthly subscriptions to get you the best quality that you truly want. Now, some people, it doesn't fit their budget, which is completely understandable. So PPL, maybe they can come in and buy a lead today, buy a couple tomorrow, whatever they want is better for them. But in reality, those leads are sitting around. They're hanging around. They've been called. They're just waiting to be sold. So, I mean, how long has it been since that seller first submitted or that seller first talked to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Usually it's been around the block, man. So by the time you get it, you're already going to have to compete with a lot of people. PPL is kind of, I would say, for people who haven't been in the business too long, PPL is great. It's great for them, right? Because they don't know, or they don't have the budget to take it up one level. But for people who have been doing this, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, PPL, they know that they're just wasting their time and spending money and digging around for all these scraps that are sitting in a database, and trying to call these people, and situations have changed, and they're not fresh, and now they listed it or they sold it, and then they have to go back through the whole replacement policy and try to get their money back or a refund credit, but they're never actually. Sorry.
One point to that, specifically the refund credit, is what we found is, because we have a wholesaling business ourselves outside of being this agency, is that you get store credit from that people for the same lead. So let's say they sell the same lead to 5 people, they're just hoping that one of those people doesn't refund it. And then the people
Yeah.
that does, they go spend that credit on another one. And then maybe that one works. And then they buy another one, right? It's like you're constantly chasing that dragon, right? Of that good lead. And they just have such a saturation of leads. And it just goes back into the CRM, hoping for the next, for lack of a better term, the next sucker to come buy that lead again. And if other businesses, if like retail businesses operated that way, and you bought a defective product or a product that you just didn't like, you felt like you were missold. Let's say you go to buy a TV at Best Buy and it says it's a 50-inch flat screen TV. You bring it home and it's only a 30-inch, 32-inch TV. You go to return that to Best Buy and they say, oh, that's right, all we can do is store credit to Best Buy. And then they put that back in the box and they put it back in the warehouse and hope that someone else buys that 50-inch TV, brings it home, and is like, you know what, this is actually the good size, the size I wanted.
Yeah.
That's what these PBL companies are doing, right? And people don't think about it that way, but that's literally the same type of business model. And most companies can't get away with that. Like they would lose business. But we feel like, unfortunately, we caught on to that, which is why we had the idea to start Lead House. But yeah.
I mean, PPL for the provider like us, PPL is a very bad business model. It's not there for growth. It's not there for longevity. You guys or the clients are just going to come and go as they please.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we figured it all out as far as like, how that stuff operates. And we know we wanted to go the other direction because we could provide you a better quality lead of exactly what you're looking for. And then it's exclusive. No one else sees it but you, right?
Yep.
So you don't have to compete with all these other investors and wholesalers trying to chase the same lead,
Yeah.
I heard a story the other day of a client. He was telling me about, there was a PPL lead that he bought. And when he spoke to the seller, she said that she already spoke to 17 people this week. Right. So just imagine that. Just imagine you go ahead and buy a lead from a PPL provider and they have spoken to 17 investors already that week. I mean, now
And that probably wouldn't be one that's considered refundable either, considering like it is off market.
Person, right?
It is for the buy box. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the seller. Right. But so it's just like, well, what are your chances? Now you're 1 in 17 to get the deal.
It's like buying a lottery ticket, right?
Yeah. Exactly. So,
well, we've also seen is some of these PPL companies will come to companies like us, which we do work. I'll be transparent. We do work with some of them, right? And they'll buy leads from us and then just mark them up and then put them on their platform for people like you to buy. Where if you work with us directly, sure, it's going to cost more money. Like you have to like pay a monthly fee, a monthly subscription, but that lead is going to be exclusive to you, direct to you. So you can have two different options. If you want to buy leads for your market, you can go to a PPL provider and buy the same lead that has to be, they generate, they buy it from us, they put it in their CRM, they mark it up, and who knows how long it sits in there, a day, 2 days, even if it's an hour. Speed to lead is too important. And then you buy that lead, right? And now it's been basically bought by them, marked up, resold to you. And it's not hot and it's not exclusive. It's also being sold to 5 other investors. Working with us, the difference is we would generate those leads for you exclusively. We would not sell any of the leads generated in that market to any other client of ours or any other PPL provider. You get them exclusive instantly. Within seconds of that lead coming in, it's yours and you can contact that seller realistically. And you can think about like, we're like wholesaling wholesale leads, right? You're coming to us. We're like the people, the company in China that's making the iPods, and then they're making them for $100, the iPhone, and then they're selling them to Apple, who's then selling them to Best Buy, who's then selling them marked up. It's like you're coming directly to the source, and you do have to pay a subscription to have access to directly to the source. We're like the Costco, right? You pay a subscription, you pay a membership to be part of our team. However, you're getting the leads exclusively to you directly when they come in, and there's no limitations other than whatever your budget is. If we generate you 50 or 500 leads in your market, you don't you don't pay anymore. It's not per lead. It's like we set a package of a budget that fits you, and we maximize it, and those leads are exclusive. So that's really the main reason how we're different. And out the door, I know this for a fact, we've done this in at least 30 to 50 different markets in the United States just in the last year, that our leads exclusively to you on average come out to be $100 to $150 per lead or less. Where I know for a fact, for an exclusive lead on a lot of these PPL companies, if it's really motivated and a good lead, it's going to cost $300 or $400, or you're going to have to spend $500 worth of leads to get one that fits your criteria that's good. The rest of that $400 you get back in store credit, just put back into the slot machine, and you're just basically at the real estate lead casino. And that's why we've had so much success lately, and why we're scaling so fast, is because the people who work with us, they see the difference immediately from that, and they take their PPL budget and they bring it over to us.
100%. Yeah, and also, like you mentioned earlier, Andrew, you said, people who have multiple exit strategies. If you're a quick tip, guys, if you are doing wholesale and that's like your number one, criteria here is you just want to wholesale everything, don't spread yourself too thin. Don't just say, hey, because I can only do it in one market. I can only do it in one market. Guys, you can lock up these deals in any market and dispo them in any market. You don't need to go to the house. You don't need to see it. You don't need to get all this information. You don't have to meet the seller, face to face. I've been doing this business now for almost 8 years, and I say probably 70% of the deals never involved human interaction ever. So don't think that, hey, just because a motivated lead come in and it's an hour away, I got to hop in my truck and drive out there.
You mean face-to-face human interaction? Because you talk to them on the phone, right?
By the time
SMS, email.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
You just build that rapport. Hey, if you can talk, man, they'll eat out of the palm of your hand, right? If I have, my people from another country doing this, then you can be able to do it in your own backyard. I've just run into so many situations in the past prior to me learning how to do it virtually that by the time you get in the car and drive out there, they accepted another offer. Well, how does that make you feel? Walking back into the office, knowing that you went out the door with a contract or thinking you had a contract to now you're coming back with nothing. I mean, it's not a good feeling. So, times are changing, guys.
Well, we're about into our last part of the show we want to talk about, which is really showing off a hot lead of the week that we've generated. And I'm going to kick over to Craig to just walk through the lead and kind of how he would treat this lead. And maybe you guys can learn something about this if you guys are generating leads, if you're in the game. This is how our brains work when a lead comes in. And so take over, Craig. There's that present button there at the bottom, with the plus sign. You can share a tab or window, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, let me just share my screen.
And we put this at the end because we feel like this is going to be some of the most usable game that we're going to spit on this call every month that we do. Let me
do this, bro.
Yeah, let me do this real quick. There we go. Yep.
Oh,
you're in. I just had to add it. So yeah, you're good now.
You can see this now?
Yep.
Yeah, so here's a lead that came in earlier this week. I did have to block off the personal details, guys. Sorry, no freebies here. But this one, she wants $200K, condition, okay, needs some work, but focus on the reason for selling, guys. This is the context of the stuff you're going to be getting on a weekly, if not daily basis, right? Seller divorced, 2 months past due on the mortgage, and another lender is dragging his feet. So I don't know if that means maybe she's trying to refinance it, or maybe she has a buyer, but the lender doesn't want to move forward. Who knows, right? You don't know till you call them. Not on the market. I need to sell this property ASAP. Not a condo, not a mobile home. So this property, she's super motivated, guys. It looks like she's going to be in foreclosure pretty soon here. So, I mean, she's got to hurry up and make a decision. If not, she could lose the house and get nothing. So, we'll quickly comp it. I'm going to share another screen with you guys real quick here, and we'll kind of just look at like what I would do when I see a lead like this. All right. All right, so here is the subject property. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,700 square feet. I'll just look at it quickly on Zillow, go through some of the information, see what the Zestimate is. Now, she wanted 200, and the Zestimate's coming up at 265, but you know how that goes. This is Zillow, guys. It is somewhat accurate, but it's nothing you should, definitely hold your business against, because it can be not accurate as well. Estimated rent $2,000. So this one probably will fit that 1% rule that Andrew was talking about. We're going to scroll down. This is what I do quickly to just see what a property or what properties are going for in the area. I go down, there's a couple maps on here, and I go to the last one at the very end. It'll show me the zip code, and it'll show me these little bubbles, these red and yellow bubbles of sold and what's pending. So I'll kind of just get a brief look at what's going on, and I'll click on these. So I got one over here, listed on the market, 329. It's smaller than ours, same bedroom bath count. Let's check the photos, see the condition. It's a 1-car garage, it's not a 2-car garage.
Yeah, it's really just like a carport.
Yeah. Kitchen looks pretty well updated, stainless steel.
Definitely renovated.
It's small. It's got some vinyl flooring, staged, carpet. No mattress, but they got a box spring. So it looks like it had some remodeled in it. Let's go back. Let's check it out. Okay, so 329, and I'll scroll down to check. Woo, it's been on the market for almost 4 months. So that's a good indication of that it's not worth what they want, right? And we'll check out some other information on it, see the listing history, see if it's been pulled off and on. And yeah, so they started, it looks like, they wanted to rent it earlier in the year. No one wanted to rent it, it looks like, and then they just tried to sell it. So who knows? We'll check out another one. See if we can find something a little more comparable. Oops. But this is briefly what I do, just to breeze through, to get a better look at the neighborhood to try to come up with a value. All right. So that was over here, 330, 329. Now, actually, directly behind our house, guys, is one for 240. Let's check this out. And it's sold. That's probably our best comparable, just based on the layout. 2-car garage, brick. It's about 300 square feet smaller, but same bedroom, bath, same garage door count. Same thing. I'll go down. I'll look at some of the information because it did sell last year. Looks like they started at 265 and it sold 2 months later for 240. Check the condition. There's no pictures on here, but there are probably other pictures on the internet, but we can read the description and that'll give us a better idea. Charming home offers a perfect blend of comfort and support. 2-car garage. Oh, nothing major. Probably rental grade. It's livable but not updated. So that's what I would pretty much look for. Let's check this out on Google though while we're at it. Maybe we can dig up some pictures. There we go. Realtor.com. Coming in clutch.
This is right behind the house that was the lead.
This is directly behind. Okay, so pretty clean. Could use some paint.
Not staging anything there.
maybe knock down a wall or two. Kitchen looks okay. So guys, this is totally livable. It's just not updated. You can see the sinks coming out.
Pretty old.
Cabinets are old,
That
but
a story.
it looks like the flooring's been kept up with. Has tile in one of the rooms. Bathrooms definitely need to be remodeled. Check out that chandelier. It's like a chain. So yeah, I mean it's rental grade, it's livable, but definitely needs some updates. And it's sold for 240. So I look at that and say, okay, well, ARV, it must be more than 240 because we have an extra 300 square feet. Plus, this property didn't have any major updates to it, right? So if we were to go in there and oh yeah, in the yard, looks like shit too out back. So yeah, look, yeah. So I would say our ARVs, I don't know, face value 270 roughly. We got an extra 300 square feet plus room to work on those updates. So that's what I would think it would be. And I go back to the lead and I say, okay, well, what did this seller want? 200, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I say, okay, that's a pretty good lead. She's asking below market. So there should be some spread in between. Now, how deep will she go? I mean, look at the reason she wants to sell. She's behind on the mortgage payment, so foreclosure is approaching, and she's divorced. It's pretty damn motivated.
So let's say it was the condition you're expecting it to be in. What do you think you would go in with the first number you try to throw at her?
I'd probably anchor her with 150, but before I throw a number at her, I'm always going to ask people what their payoff is, right? Because I need to know that, right? Sellers, they might not be so forthcoming in giving that to you because they might think that, oh, well, if you need to know my payoff, I need to have the offer be more than my payoff to make money.
I think it's always good why to build a good rapport with them too. Like you have this information about what she's going through. Learn a little bit more about that. Like what's going on. If you start asking her about what's going on with that divorce, she might tell you that her husband cheated on her, and she starts now like by just asking questions, these people are going to build trust with you, and they're going to give you information that you didn't even ask for, and that information now is building a rapport and trust. I watched this. I love to think about this whole example of if I go into the grocery store, right, and I go up to a grocery store employee and I say, "Hey, I heard of this the news. I saw on the news that every employee at this grocery store is now making a minimum of $30 an hour. So congratulations, I saw that." And they immediately go, "Wait, what? Like I only make $15 an hour, and I know the highest." Like they're gonna start just giving you how much money they make, right? Because you're just asking questions and anchoring those questions with things, and their human need to want to either contradict you or correct you is going to open them up to be able to give you information they wouldn't normally give. So you can find ways of asking what that payoff number is without flat out paying it. And sometimes they'll give it to you, but you first still have to build that rapport with them, find out what they're going through. How old are our kids? Oh, I have family in Lake Alfred. Like, look up a couple facts about Lake Alfred before you jump on there. So when you get on the call, you could be like, "Do they still have that theme park over there?" Like, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you can do that due diligence, and you only can get that information with leads like ours, because we get that information for you before we give you the lead. But it's not just call it and treat every lead same one size fits all, right? It's approach this logically, like this is a person to person business.
Yep, because it is. Yeah. So this property, I usually like to see like, hey, what the payoff is, and then from right then and there, I'll know if I can even make a cash offer. Cash offers are like probably 25% of what our business is at this point, and most successful investor wholesalers and people that are doing acquisitions like this is meant for, it's that as well, right? It's just there's too many properties who had refinances recently. There's too many people in foreclosure. So I would get that payoff and then probably, send her a soft offer of like a range. Maybe that ARV, I think what I say with 270 roughly, probably 140, 150, somewhere around there. And then from there, just take it from there. So.
Yeah. What would you think, when you approach that conversation with her, where do you think you would start? Like, what's the first thing you say when you talk to a lead? Like I've heard you, so I know what you're going to say, but how do you start things off?
Yeah, it's just, hey, Carol, I just got your information. What's going on? I
And just let them talk.
just let them talk, dude. Let them talk. Or what's going on with the house? Bring me up to speed.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You just want to just give it to them, not just be like, hey, this is Craig with 123 Home Buyers LLC. I just got your information here. Can you just tell me a little bit about the house? How many bathrooms? Nah. Just, hey, it's Craig with 123 Home Buyers. What's going on? Bring me up to
Yeah.
speed.
I'd
Let them
say
have the floor.
with what you said, Craig, like the cash buyer thing, from what I've seen from like all the people we've talked to and work with over the last couple of years, is if you're specifically just going to be doing cash offers, right? That's all you can do. Like that's the only exit strategy you know how to do. It's the only thing you're willing to do. Then you just have to be from better or worse, understand that you're probably going to be only be able to do this as a passive side hustle. You're still going to need a full-time job, right? Because you may be able to get one or a deal or two here or there, and maybe you can be fine doing this in your spare time. But if you're expecting to be living the life you probably want to live and succeed the way you're expecting to, that the cash offer game, 5-10 years ago, it was different. But I think currently now you got to understand that, like we've said, 10% of the leads we generated are probably eligible for a cash offer, to where the equity is going to be right, and they're going to be willing to accept it, to where they
Yeah.
just don't laugh you out the door, to where they're motivated enough and they have the equity, right? So that's 10%. So you're going to have to buy, 90% more leads to get a deal than people who have multiple different dispo strategies. So in those other dispo strategies, Craig, what are the main ones that you suggest people learn to do going into, 2026, that are going to be, important if they want to do this full time? And if you don't know any of these, you really need to go like start studying up, or
Yeah.
reach out to us if you need some help. We can at least point you in the right direction. Um, you know, but yeah,
Yeah.
what are some of those?
Yeah, definitely. If y'all want to learn some other exit strategies that have our clients crushing it, tap in with us. I would say the number one is probably creative financing. Sub twos, hybrid, seller finance, something to where the seller is just so motivated, but they can't make another payment, or they have no equity in the house. They made a bad decision. They bought it. Their job transferred them. Somebody died. They can't afford it, right? But there's just no equity to list it. There's no equity to do a cash offer or anything else.
Those are great if they can't afford like repairs, right?
Yep. Well,
Yep.
yeah, something like that too, but
Mhm.
but more so they can't afford to make a payment on their
Got
mortgage,
you.
right? The mortgage is what's prohibiting them from doing the other types of exit strategies, right? Something like that where you can take over the payments, and guys, you can assign these deals. You don't actually have to buy them and take over the payments. You can sell them to an investor just like a normal wholesale transaction. The paperwork is different.
So you
That's
just have
it.
to know how to crunch those numbers, know the right contracts, and really, I'd say the most important thing with that whole process is knowing how to present it
Yeah.
to the seller as an option. Because if
Yep.
you don't understand it, they're not going to understand it. So you need to be able
100%.
to present it in a way that they understand the value and how you're going to be helping them out of that situation. So it's not as simple as just like, okay, I downloaded a contract for a sub 2 contract and I'm just going to go wing it. If you don't know the numbers well enough and you don't know how to present it, it's going to confuse them. They're not going to be like want to be able to do
Scam.
it. And you also need to make sure you're going to be able to assign that, right? Like that you did the numbers correctly of how it all works out, to where what they may agree to is actually something you're going to be able to fulfill upon, because
Yeah. It goes
yeah.
back to what you said earlier about cash flow, 1%. So, hey, if rents in the area are 2,000, you found a seller who has no equity in her house and her payment on the bank is 1,500, it's a deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, all it is, guys, is just different paperwork, same procedure. You close at a title company, deed transfer, blah, blah, blah. The paperwork is different. But
Different
like Andrew
terms.
said, it's very important you know how to explain that paperwork, because more than likely the seller has never heard what the hell you're going to be talking about, and you want to make sure that they understand fully what's going on, because that loan is staying in place, right? And that
Yep.
freaks a lot of people out. But sometimes, hey, there's just no other way for the deal to be done but that way.
Yep.
The other probably common way is novations, getting an authorization to list the property on the MLS, right? That way you're kind of acting as their realtor, but you're also providing all the benefits and the convenience of what a cash offer would be. You don't have to clean it. You don't have to pay closing costs or commissions. You can live there sometimes while we're trying to sell it, and we're also, or the investors, taking over that position of getting your property sold. So we're not buying it. We're just bringing in a buyer for you and providing you the convenience and the timeline what a cash offer would have done, but we need to just get it out there in front of the whole world. One way of doing that is on the MLS.
Yeah. Can you do novations everywhere, or is that like a state by state thing?
I've heard both. I heard you can do them everywhere, but sometimes you have to double close them.
Yeah.
And I've also heard there is some states that don't allow it. The laws are always changing, guys. Regulations are always changing, guys. But to my knowledge, I'm locking them up in every state there is. I'll let you know.
And we know that some places right now they're really cracking down on specifically the wholesale cash offer.
Yeah,
specifically that one, not these other ones. So if you should really get ahead of it, and maybe if at the end of the day, I think the perfect investor should have ability to do cash offers, novations, sub twos, creative financing, like no matter what, like have a solution for the seller, because that different reasons why someone's selling their house, right? That is going to just determine of which offer is going to work for them. There's a way to work with them. The only way you're not going to be able to get it done is if they absolutely are completely have like unreasonable people. There's no one going to be able to help them. It's either you'll help them or no one will be able to, right? And that's a decision you're making, is if I'm going to help this person or not. But if there's a will, there's a way, and there's a way you can do these deals. But most people just don't get the education to do it. So cash offers, sub twos, creative financing, like you talked about, that novation opportunity, and then at least either have a partner that is a realtor, right? Like someone on your team, or partner with a realtor that's someone you know and trust, where you could like do some type of commission split from that. That way, no matter what, if you're buying that lead and that person does want to sell their house, which all the leads we generate fit that buy box. These people want or need to sell their house. If you have all those bases covered, the guys with us who are, doing 10 plus deals a month from our leads, they fit that criteria of they can do all those different types of deals, or they have their own real estate license. They have a business partner as a real estate license, or they've just at least partnered with a realtor. So it's like, hey, okay, how about we list this house for you? I'm going to connect you with Craig from my team. And he's going to tell you everything we need to do to just get this house sold in the next, might take 3 months, might take, 60 to 90 days. But if that's what makes more sense for you, we're going to take care of you, because you paid for that lead, right? So if you want to just try to get a cash offer and see if it gets accepted, then you might as well just, be buying lottery tickets. But if you have all those different ways to make deals and to do dispo, then really the power is all in your hands.
Yeah. If you got 10 exit strategies, guys, to utilize, and the seller, it can't fit for all those, then they're just not motivated.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it has to fit for one, or else it's not a lead, right? And good thing about us is we don't provide you with leads that aren't leads. So it's just like it is, like being a pitcher, right? You don't just go up to the mound and have a fastball. No, you have a slider, you have a curveball, a knuckleball, change up. You got all these different pitches, because not every batter is going to be the same type of hitter, right? Not every hitter is going to have the same, approach. So you need to be able to figure out a way how to get the deal done. Just because a motivated seller is a motivated seller is a motivated seller. Doesn't matter the equity. It doesn't matter. It's just, hey, why? What is the motivation here? From all that, you got to figure out, okay, which box does it fit, and make it work.
Oh, yep, absolutely. Well, that's it for today's episode. We're going to do this again every month. So we're going to be back this time next month, somewhere the last Friday of October. But just so you guys know, if any of this stuff has been valuable to you, please like and subscribe wherever you are. And just pay attention, because we're going to be doing a lot more stuff. We're going to be at Bigger Pockets next week in Vegas. So come say hi if you see us around there. It's coming right up. So come say hey to us there, and we'll be meeting a lot of people, and and connecting with a lot of you guys. So excited if any of you are going to be there. And then lastly, if you need help, if you need leads, if you are an investor and you are looking for the highest quality motivated seller leads, and when we say motivated sellers, we're talking about distressed sellers. We're talking about the condition of the seller, not the condition of the property, right? People who are going through the shit that makes them have an accelerated timeline to where they are looking to sell this property in a non-traditional way. Then we've been doing this for over a year now, and I'll tell you that we have the highest quality motivated exclusive motivated seller leads in the industry for the most affordable price. I know that sounds too good to be true, but the way we do that is because we build an acquisition system for you through social media advertising that is exclusive to you. And at the end of 30 days, your average cost per motivated seller lead will be a fraction of the cost going to a PPL company or someone, or trying to do this yourself. That's for sure. Because we've been doing this for so long. Craig's been doing real estate for 10 years, and I've been doing digital marketing for over 10 years as well. So us combined, we're going to be able to get you that. And the only thing that matters is we don't do things for free. So if you're expecting, like anything for free, then you should go probably try another company, because we're not for you. But we do have packages that work with just about any budget. And we are specifically work with people who are looking to scale. If you just did your first deal, we're probably not the best for you, right? That's what those PPL companies are for you. But if you know what you're doing, you have multiple exit strategies, and you're looking to scale or save money on your marketing, then we're absolutely
save time too, guys.
Yeah, big time. We know guys who've spent $25K with a company and had no 8 leads, right? We have guys spending, just round numbers, $5K a month with us, getting 70 motivated seller leads in their market that fit their buy box a month. And I'm not exaggerating, that is an actual case study. That's not the same for everybody, but usually most of our packages, people are getting at least 25 to 30 on at a absolute minimum.
Definitely, guys. Yeah. And you don't have to do anything to any legwork, any labor involved to get these leads. Pretty much we handle everything turnkey. Give us a ring. Check us out on social media, like and follow.
And if all else fails, leadhouse365.com, and we will see you guys in a month. But peace out.
Peace, y'all.
See you guys.